Okay, good evening, and I will call the November 1st, 2023 meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. If you please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Officer Hull, would you lead us, please?
Love to. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. There are no additional consent or agenda calendar items. Is there anyone that wishes to address the board on anything right now, on any matter? Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of minutes of the October 18th, 2023 meeting.
Move to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 18, 2023 as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second. You can have it.
Okay, seconded by Dan. Any comments, corrections?
Yeah, for the special meeting in here someplace, it said that it was unanimous, and I abstained. Well, that was, yeah, under the approval of the
Is it first
special meeting.
page? Yes.
Okay, we'll make sure that that is in the next set of minutes that is noted in there. So, okay. Any other comments?
Yes, under subsection B, number 3B, where we received the request from the estate of Tombari,
Yeah.
Ruth Tombari, is there anyone that the board could send a thank you letter to for the bequest?
I'm sure I'll talk to Kristen. She'll take care of that from the senior center.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or corrections? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? It carries unanimously. Moving on, consent calendar.
Sure. Move to approve the consent calendar for the November 1st, 2023 Board of Selectmen meeting in the amount of $6,586.47.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I think Bill beat you that time.
That's
Dan.
okay.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying...
No, I have a question on the large number of refunds for the Toyota Lease Trust.
Okay, then we'll have to remove this from the consent agenda and make it an agenda item.
Forget it, I'll get it answered afterwards.
Okay. And to answer your question, if we did take it off this and put it on it, it's because those are individuals who own cars and they own them, and it goes through the leasing. Basically, if you lease a car, it's Toyota Lease Trust who gets the refund, not the individual.
So lease.
Those are all people those would all be individuals. We could, if you'd like, I can have the tax collector go by and find out who each of those belong to. And
No, that was not the basis of my question.
okay. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Carries unanimously. Moving on, just briefly on the purchase of the East Lyme Land Trust, the properties and Hathaway Farmhouse, Regacci, and Brainerd Road. Yesterday, I met with our attorneys and the attorneys for both the land trust and the individual holding the mortgage. It was a really good meeting. Pretty much everything was ironed out as far as what exactly we're getting. So far, all the title things have come back good, and the only thing that we had to, and this is at request of the state, come up with how we get the grant transferred from the land trust to the town. And basically, it's going to be a letter stating that the town has done this, and then the agreement by the land trust that yes, the town has purchased it, and it'll be released to us. So that's all ongoing. It was a really productive, good meeting yesterday. So any questions? And I did have one question as to a date. That we don't know yet, but it is moving as quickly as these things move, I guess. So if none, the next thing on the agenda, and the only other item on tonight's agenda, is discussion of possible action regarding the establishment of an East Lyme Human Services Department. As we discussed in September, at the Board of Selectmen meeting on September 20th, members of the Youth Services Commission, Youth Coalition, Commission on Aging are strongly advocating for the establishment of a Human Services Department to meet the needs of basically our residents from youth through senior citizen. Town attorney reviewed our current ordinance for the Youth Services Commission. and found out it was out of compliance with Connecticut General Statutes 10-19-M. And town attorney recommends repealing the current ordinance and replacing it with the updated ordinance establishing a Youth, Family, and Human Services Commission. Some of the, and here again, there's a lot of data here on the current one that we'll be looking at repealing, and 10-19M of Connecticut General Statutes. But what we really were interested in doing and adopting a new resolution is making sure it encompassed all the people it would be serving. And working, Attorney Zamark will be here to answer any questions on the ordinance and that. But this way, we don't have to change the agenda every time the state statute changes. This way, it'll basically, we'll be operating in accordance with that. And in the purpose, what we made sure is that the needs of the youth in the towns of East Lyme and Salem, that's because of the fact that we share a school. But beyond that, families and individuals, it would be just the town of East Lyme from youth to senior citizen status. And in the second, under duties, we wanted to be sure that the community outreach and partnerships and so forth provided programs for everyone. And as you can see, we said youth, family, and human services materials to the community, and work to identify youth families, senior citizens, and individuals in need. We wanted to be sure that we encompassed every age group in this. And moving on to the commission, you see not less than 7 members, and then specifies who has to be on it, and the school representative from the school system, police department, and a private youth serving agency. They have to be on there, as well as a youth under the age of 21 at the time of appointment, and a community member at large. We added a senior citizen. Since we're going to incorporate the people at that end, we want to be sure there's a senior citizen who is a voting member of that commission. And it indicates we will be, delivering services to all these people. And, then it gets into the terms and so forth like that, as normally you would do. And what we would have to do if we want to move forward with this is move it to a public hearing at our next meeting, at which time we would receive comment, and then after that, we would vote on it. And if accepted, it would take effect 10 days after we voted on it, which would be roughly around the 27th of November. Also, what I did is we met with, as you can see, we do still have representatives tonight from every age, from youth, Commission on Aging, the police department, the school system, Parks and Rec, and everyone here who has shown how interested they are and how needed they feel this is. And one of the things we had done is came up with a rough idea of what would the cost be. For this year, we're not looking at any cost in the current year. But as Bill, you pointed out, yes, there will be costs as time goes on. So we just got some information today, and I gave you of what an organizational chart would look like and what the anticipated first year budget would be. I've asked Sarah Furman to come up and give an explanation of what kind of grants we become eligible and what other towns are seeing as far as grant awards that would help us offset the cost. Sarah, if you'd...
Good evening. So currently we are eligible for what's called a Strategic Prevention Planning Grant. I spoke with a grant writer who looked into it further for us, and the award ceiling for that particular grant is $375,000. And then we could apply again in the fiscal year of 25-26. Once our ARPA funding runs out, we will be eligible for the Drug-Free Communities Grant, and that award ceiling is $175,000. If we get that grant, that will allow us to be eligible for the Sober Truth Prevention Grant. So there are grants out there that we could apply for that would help offset the funding.
Any questions for Sarah about grants?
Yes.
Dan? I was going to say, don't go away, Sarah.
Yeah.
On that Sober Truth Prevention Grant, do you have a sense of what the value of that grant?
Not off the top of my head, no.
But it seems like they cascade. You get one to get the other, and then
Correct.
if you satisfy the first two, then you have a chance at the third grant.
Yes, and the Drug-Free Communities Grant is for 5 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is
And
that-
then-
Is that 175,000 for 5 years? Or
Each year is
each
175,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
Per year.
and these
Yes.
are ones currently we are not
Right.
eligible to receive. Also,
Thank you.
okay,
That's Mike.
Bill, did you have something you started to say?
I didn't yet. I did have questions.
Okay, she won't answer the budget. That'll be Kevin and me. They'll talk about how we came up with budget numbers. Or Sarah can address them too, though.
I just have a general
Yeah.
question about the grants. So these are yearly, and then, I mean, we see that drug-free grant is renewable, but for example, the strategic plan grant, that's a year-to-year as
So they
well?
offer it for 3 years, so we missed the
Okay.
first year of eligibility, so we would be eligible for the next 2 years.
Okay. Okay. And the third grant that you mentioned, is
The
that?
Sober Truth.
Sober Truth, right. That also is that same kind of
That's,
thing, which
yep,
is-
annually, yep, every year they
Okay.
offer that one.
So that's a full application process?
Correct,
then?
yes.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. Well, thanks.
Okay. Okay, any other questions for Sarah on as far as grants or anything of that nature? And, sorry, really quick, we talked about how much does roughly Old Lyme, which is a much smaller community, get in grants?
Yeah, so Old Lyme, their youth service bureau is a nonprofit. So Mary, who's the director there, the majority of her funding comes from the DFC grant, which is the 175,000, and then also through fundraising. So the town contributes a small percentage to her youth service bureau, but the majority is through that DFC grant, the local prevention grant that we also get, and fundraising events. So she gets 400,000 each year.
From the town.
Not from the town, combined with the grant, the DFC grant, her fundraising efforts, and then the town's percentage that they give her.
Oh.
She gets about 90,000 from the town.
But you're saying her overall.
Her overall budget is 400,000.
$400,000.
Mhm.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Bill, Ann, anything, Ann?
Yeah, is there somebody to pull out the grants?
I have spoken with a grant writer, so yeah, we would have to hire a grant writer to help with the application.
That's one of the requirements. You have to have an actual grant writer. It can't be prepared by staff or, anybody there. You have to reach out to a grant writer. Okay.
As in independent contractor grant writer, or could it be someone on staff?
Could be
who
somebody
is-
on staff.
Who is a
Yeah.
designated.
A
grant
designated
writer?
grant writer, yes.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I think some of the thought was too, we had talked about this, the first time through, you'd probably want somebody who's done it before to make sure that this is one where we definitely want to cross the Ts and dot the Is. So, and to a little bit of addressing the budget, these were numbers that, and we even talked about this would be dependent upon what the budget looks like going forward. This is just a rough estimate for the first year. Sarah gave us the Youth and Families Organizational Chart, and this is, if money were no object, this is all the positions would be filled right off the bat, but here again, she'd put like filled when, and these are our goals, not anything etched in stone right now. Same thing with the police department. We went to a full-time department and got rid of the resident trooper program. We knew that there were needs to significantly increase the staffing, which we've done over a period of 6 years. So we know this is something that will be something that will happen over time. But we estimate that, moving forward, we would be looking at a cost of roughly with benefits and just the first year for fiscal year 24-25 would be roughly $179,955, and that's not offset by any grant money or any money. How much we have? We have some opioid settlement money too, Kevin, correct? I think it's about, yes. Oh, yes. And we do get money from that on not a lot, but we do get some money on that on a continuing basis.
Yes, we get about 20,000 a year from the opioid settlement money, I believe it is, and then there's, what was the other pocket of cash you were talking about?
That was the only one I was mentioning right now.
Okay. Thought I heard some whispers in the back, but
If they
it's not
have
for
an
that.
idea of where we have extra money, please let us know. We're always open to that. So, that would be a source of funding that we could utilize for this as well, for funding on this. And this, again, this is all what it would be without any grant funding right now. Bill, any comments now? Questions?
So looking at the org chart, the extra therapist that's expected to hit in 2025, is that equivalent to this 32,300 or 32,400 number?
Yes, it is. If it happened. Here again, that's not, this is, it would depend upon the grants and, the town's finances at the time.
And the case manager, is that comparable in cost?
Yes, those are the costs.
Okay. My other question was going to be about the annual budget, but you already answered that one.
Okay.
You mentioned the interface with Salem because of the school system and the youth. Is it clearly defined where that line is between Salem and East Lyme, or is?
That's something that would have to be done right now. Right now, it's pretty much just the high school age, and if it was going to expand beyond that for students, we'd have to discuss that with Salem.
And Salem would pony up whatever percentage.
I would imagine, but that'd be a discussion we'd have to have with Salem moving forward if they wanted to participate. But the high school, they're in our system, so that's why we have at that level.
Yeah, no, my take on this is inverse of where I'm normally at, is I think this organization is extremely necessary, and I would accelerate the growth as opposed to, hinder it. So I'm in no way trying to penny pinch, and I think 180,000 compared to our total budget is a rounding error. So that's kind of where I'm at with this.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I didn't hear the last part of your comment, Bill.
If you look at our budget, our total town budget, 100,000 as a percentage is a rounding error, right? We have more movement in our budget than that every year by a factor of 10.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
It's under a tenth of a mil,
Yeah,
because a mil's 2.9 million.
but as a percentage of the budget, right, it's like
$86 million budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It rounds to zero.
And I think, and public safety is a big concern for all of us. And as I was talking with Officer Hull and Sarah this afternoon, and I've talked with other people, this is definitely part of that public safety because you're being proactive, vice reactive. And, with some of the incidents that have occurred in the last week and so forth, we can see that there's definitely need for this, and the support we've had and the work we've had from so many people in this room to help address these needs is
And now
appreciated.
prevention's worth a pound of care for sure.
Right. Any other comments?
I recalled from the last time this was on the agenda, is my understanding correct that we don't become eligible to start applying for these grants until, first of all, we correct the ordinance so that it complies with the state of Connecticut Ordinance 1019M, and that we have an organizational chart with people populated in that chart so that we can begin the grant applying process. Is that understanding correct? We can't really move forward.
Yeah, I'm looking at Attorney Zamarka was nodding his head, so I think that means yes. So.
Okay, all right.
So, and I appreciate Tracy Collins and Mark Zamarka. They've done a lot of work ensuring that we research this very thoroughly and moving forward to make sure we're eligible for this type of grants moving forward. Any other comments?
Yes, our pages aren't numbered, and I dropped my packet, so. This is there are 9 subtitles or subheadings under this on this particular page, it begins with I think it's description of who will be on the commission. And number 8 and 9. Number 8 says develop and implement programs with other agencies related to youth. And 9, remain accessible to East Lyme and Salem youths. I'm not sure what that refers to or the meaning of that.
That's the old statute.
You think that's the old statute?
That's the old statute.
Yes, that's
Okay,
the
so-
We're on the old one.
So we would eliminate that.
Yes, that was,
There's a
yeah.
phrase. Yeah, okay, all right. Now, we currently have a part-time therapist who's being funded by ARPA money. And how many hours does that part-time therapist work?
Currently, she does 6 hours a week, between 4 and 6.
And so there's a request then to have 2 therapists. Would the 2 of them then equal to being a full-time employee
It would depend.
in term of hours?
Correct, yeah. And the caseload, how many cases they can take on at a time.
So does this mean that during the course of a day, there would be a part-time therapist available on a daily basis?
More than likely in the evening, they would be available. Our current part-time therapist also works full-time, so she's available in the evening for families.
So we would expect then that any youth who needed assistance would get that through the schools, through the school during
Through their
daytime-
school counselors.
during
Yep.
daytime hours.
Zoom back up.
Okay. So I know that you've done quite a bit of research, and how does this line up with what other communities in our area are doing in terms of servicing these needs?
Well, East Lyme is one of 4 that does not have a lot of programs and services for youth all the way up to seniors. Other departments in other towns have other therapists, case managers, social workers, prevention coordinators, program coordinators. So we're really lacking with being able to provide services that the community needs.
Are there any regional agencies that also are available to us to access?
Yep, CIRAC, we work very closely with CIRAC. I work very closely with the Brian Daigle Foundation, different local therapists within the town, work closely with the police department, the fire department, Karen Share, Safe Futures. We are very active with partnering with different community organizations.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
I think
Izzy.
that's it.
Okay, any other comments? In that case, I'll look for the resolution for a notice for a public hearing. Oh, hold on. Attorney Smarker, do you have anything you need to add to this?
No, actually, I don't. You did an excellent job of summarizing the ordinance. I don't think there's anything to add.
Okay, thank you.
Could for the benefit of us and the public, could we go over the time frame? I know that the ordinance
Okay, here-
would come into being 10 days after
Yeah, which
publication.
would roughly be a publication, so we figured the 10 days for that would most likely be the 27th or the last Monday in November.
In terms of section 5 of the ordinance, the terms, could we just go over that? I mean, as these are, just for some clarity, the staggered terms and so forth, just sort of a summary of when the commission would be constituted and how it would look.
Well, the commission will be constituted when it was appointed by the first selectman as set forth in the ordinance. So at that point, everyone would be on the same terms, so they'd have to be staggered at some point after that.
Okay. And could you elaborate a little bit, Mark, about the interplay between the commission and the department? Just sort of like there is this. We talked last time about department and department head and the commission itself.
Well, as used in the statute, department refers to in this town, the Board of Education.
Okay.
So in terms of the interplay, the commission membership, as Mr. Siri pointed out, in order to qualify for state grant, you have to have certain members are required to be on there, one of which is a representative from the school system.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks. I just wanted to elaborate a little.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. See, we did need you, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice to be wanted. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, another comment, we'll move the notice of a public hearing.
Okay, Town of East Lyme, notice of public hearing, East Lyme Town Hall, Penn Avenue, Niantic. Notice is hereby given of a public hearing to be held by the East Lyme Board of Selectmen on Wednesday, November 15th, 2023, at the East Lyme Town Hall at 108 Pennsylvania Avenue, Niantic, Connecticut, beginning at 7 p.m. to receive comments regarding the following ordinance entitled, Ordinance Establishing Youth, Family, and Human Services Commission for the Town of East Lyme. Said ordinance proposes the repeal of Ordinance Section 31.10 entitled Youth Services Commission and establishes a new commission entitled Youth, Family, and Human Services Commission to act as an advisory board to the Board of Selectmen and shall be responsible for providing outreach, community education, and services to meet the needs of youth in the towns of East Lyme, Salem, and families and individuals in the town of East Lyme, from youth to senior citizens. Copies of the proposed ordinance is available for review in the East Lyme Town Clerk's office and on the Town of East Lyme website, www.eltownhall.com. Interested persons are invited to attend and be heard. Dated at East Lyme, Connecticut, this first day of November 2023 by the East Lyme Board of Selectmen.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Dan got it that time, for sure.
Gotta be quick. You gotta be quick.
That'd be quick.
Based on the way that that's written, now I got a new question.
Yes.
Okay.
It talks about youth services for East Lyme and Salem, and then it talks about Town of East Lyme for basically everybody else. You were saying that if Salem wants to buy into some of these services in the future, they
Beyond high school.
Right, but the way this is written up, it doesn't sound like they can.
Well, it says youth in the town,
It
so.
says for youth, right?
Yeah.
But if their senior citizens want to get involved in something that this,
They'd have to reach out and we'd have to,
Have to amend.
They'd have to amend that.
Yeah.
so we'd have to amend the ordinance if they do.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, that,
You're right,
yes.
yes. That was
Okay,
my
I see what
question.
you mean, yeah.
That was my question.
Okay.
There was a different way to word it so that they didn't have to amend the ordinance if Salem was interested in participating.
Well, I think at this point, it's not open-ended. It's
It's
what
not.
it is. And so if we choose to do that, then we would amend.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Okay, it's been seconded. Any further comments?
So
All-
prior to the public hearing, we will have the ordinance as is, copies available for
Yeah.
people.
Well, it'll be posted online and as well as in the town clerk's office.
All right. And we will not be making any additional changes prior to the public hearing.
No, we wouldn't.
Okay, so hopefully people are going to pay attention and look at the town website. I wonder, there's no reporter here this evening, I wonder if we might get...
I talked to her, she said she will be watching tonight.
Okay, so we can anticipate that there would be an article in the paper
Yes.
regarding this as well. Okay, I'm set.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Carries for me. And everyone here, thank you for your support and all the work you have done to bring this to the point where we're able to make it in its own agency. Thank you. And Bill, I like what you said. I mean, I'm sure they won't object if we wanted to increase the budget items, or the next board did. Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'd like to level the playing field
Yeah.
a little bit.
Well, the thing is, the thing that I'm finding out from talking to Sarah now, that just the resources that will become available to us now, I think would definitely help us out. And these are recurring, these aren't things, because one of the ones you mentioned is, there's 44, the 375, there's 44 awards of that this year. And we're going to play hard on it. Hey, agency just formed, need to get started, and hopefully that'll go. So
I understand is that the number, whatever that number was, 180,000 was the max, and that grants will offset it and decrease it.
yeah,
It just, to me, like I said, is
Exactly.
for the percentage of the population that we're supporting, I think it's money well spent.
I agree.
Grants, however, aren't forever.
Now,
no. Okay, moving on. That completes our agenda, our business agenda. No communications.
See anyone?
Ex officio reports. Bill?
no meetings since last meeting.
Ann?
Yes, on October 23rd, there was a meeting of the short-term rental committee. We had, at that meeting, Chief Finkelstein reported to us about his department's interactions, particularly in the beach communities. Gave a great report, clarified that when police respond to noise complaints or parking and traffic complaint, that there isn't a different way of treating that because it might be a short-term rental. So there's a uniformity of response, if you will, when these incidences occur. Also, very importantly, he pointed out, especially to a number of the members of the committee that weren't familiar with this, that the police commission is the traffic authority for the town. So the police department cannot enforce bylaws of a community. Let's say they might have enacted their own, or someone sticks up a sign, no parking here. So opened up an avenue for a regulation for the committee to perhaps recommend that if there are certain areas within town that need the town engineer and the police commission to take a look at parking or traffic issues, that's the avenue by which to do that. So that was very helpful. Basically, as a committee, we are now digesting a lot of information that we've gathered from our public hearing, our public delegations, and the many emails that we are getting. So Gary Cacello has volunteered to help chart out some of this information as best possible so we can kind of figure out where in town, if there are locations where more of this happens than other places, and what is the nature of issues. Next meeting scheduled for November 20th, and at that meeting we will discuss more about our findings and also individually come up with the beginning of thoughts or of solutions to what looks like certain issues. So we're kind of beginning the thick of it all, if you will. And we will do another public hearing. The date of that isn't entirely clear right now. There's an issue with the date that we have selected, but more on that to come.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
Okay. Dan?
Yes. On October 25th, I attended the Brookside Farm Museum meeting. I've been with them a long time, and I really see a new enthusiasm in that commission, and they're really looking forward. Their curator is very
She's
hands-on.
fantastic.
Pardon
She's
me?
really good.
She really is, and she's done a wonderful job over there, and has injected enthusiasm into the commission. And they're thinking big, and they're thinking down the road. What can they do with the barn? How can they increase the usage of it and the value of it to the town? So I'm very encouraged as to the direction in which they're going, and they're already starting to look at their budget and figure out where they what they should be looking for in the future. So things are good over there.
Good.
That's it.
Thank you, Dan. Roseanne?
I don't have anything new to report, but during your report, are you going to update us on the situation of the dock at McCook's? I was there the other day and noticed that it's still there.
No, it's gone.
Oh, it's gone?
Yes.
Oh. And no way to trace responsibility
How it
for
got
that?
No, as of right now, no. We thought we were going to be able to blame it on the city of Norwich, but we couldn't. It was not theirs, and but it turned out to be we were able to get it removed, and actually the contractor that did it took care of the removal of it as well, so we didn't have to pay for that. That was a part of it, so it was, had to be removed because it was a hazard, and it's gone.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay, moving on to my part, that was one of the things on it, so that you took there. First of all, most people should have gotten the mailers on the charter revision question that we sent out. Diane, the tax assessor, is the one that steered me to CCM, said, hey, reach out to them. They may have a better idea than mailing a letter with 3 pages, putting it in an envelope, mail it. And then Sue Spang and got a hold of CCM. They worked it out, came up with a design, and the entire package, including postage and the production of the mailers, was a little under $2,900. The mailing alone, if we had done just the mailing alone with putting it in an envelope, mailing it off, would have been an additional $4,576. And it probably would have been about another $1,500 in material. So it was significantly better, and it guides everybody in the right direction. And today, when people were coming in for absentee ballots, they were saying, "Oh, we got the questions, so we did that online." So let's hope it had some success there. So, and then CCM, when we picked them up from TCM, they gave us a little thing of all the services they provide at a lot cheaper price than sometimes we go out to. So it's already in the turnover package, so somebody will get that. Moving on, ADA compliance, we hit this, yesterday was the day we had to reach stage 2, where we sent all the information upon doing things such as the plans for putting in multi-level access, bathroom access, and entrance access and parking access. So that's been done and received, so we're on schedule with that. We started making some changes downstairs in some of the offices with in-house resources to lower the levels of the counters and so forth. So we are making progress in there. The ceiling of the public safety building will be done by the end of the year, and I think I mentioned we were estimating 75+ thousand. It's going to come in a little under 50,000, and that's being able to do a couple more things too. The hardest part is they have to take down all the lettering on the building before they can start spraying this stuff. So regarding the Exit 74 project, it's going to go a little bit longer this fall as far as the blasting. They got a little bit behind because of the weather. Now they're going to use that to get a few more things done. You can see the process, the progress being done now too. Early next or mid-spring, they're going to open up the new Exit 74 northbound exit ramp. So that'll be the first thing we'll see, but progress continues up there. Nice article in the paper about 3 new restaurants. Constantine's will be opening to the public this Friday. Cafe Sol will be opening up within the next couple of weeks in a new location, and 374 Main Street will be opening up hopefully on the 15th is what their goal is. So 3 nice places here. Kristen left, but she was able to get an additional American Rescue Plan grant strictly for the senior center for $58,000. It'll allow her to keep the social worker for a much longer period of time, and that has been such an asset and benefit there. When I was discussing the new ordinance with Mike Bekich, the chair of the Commission on Aging, he said she's been such a great resource and helped so many people out there. So let's see. Veterans Day will be 10 a.m. on the green on the 11th. Not Friday is the holiday, but the actual ceremony is on the 11th down on the green. So if you can, come down and thank all those who have served. Water and sewer, we didn't obviously this year have to put in any moratoriums on anything related to water, but the water usage has been down significantly, not significantly, but down a little bit this year. And that's because much less was used for irrigation. People didn't have to use it for that. Retirements, Vinnie McGinty, who had been with the town for I think 37 years, is retired. Rose Katoya and Deb Lewandowski, who have been here for a long time, are all retired. Although Deb is back for a few weeks because her replacement can't start for a couple weeks. So couple of years ago, absentee ballots were extremely, a lot of them. This year, they're down noticeably, but I don't have the exact number. I know it's a lot less than 2 years ago. And Tuesday is Election Day. Please, everyone, make sure you get out and exercise the right that you have that so many people in the world don't have, and cast your votes. So, and that's it. And Kevin, we wish you, by the time our next meeting is on the 15th, you will be...
Could be here.
You could be here, but you're very close to getting married, so we'll make sure we don't have to. My plan for our next meeting is the only thing I'm going to have on the agenda is the public hearing, followed by this, and then just some parting words, and move on. So, any questions? What?
We'd like to squeak that boat dock in there, or the dock that washed up on the shore.
Okay. We know we have to pay for that. But, yeah. I was not, I thought it was under what it would have to come to us for.
Gotta come to you guys for it.
We'll talk.
Yeah. It's one on my head.
Yes. Thank you for surprising me with that. We had a chat about that today too, didn't we? Okay, nothing else. There's no public comment, and so there was
I don't think so.
no selectmen's
Yeah.
response. So,
We'll move to adjourn.
okay, it's been moved to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Roseanne. Not quick enough that time, Bill.
That's right.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you.